It is so nice to see you at my country craft corner again. And I'm fixing to be a little bit creative today instead of walking around and talking around my house. I'm going to make something today. I'm going to make a wreath for my sweet cousin Nonita. She asked me to make her one and she would pay me for it. And I told her she was cuckoo crazy and that I wouldn't allow that. So I am going to make her a wreath. And I'm going to be using this pretty cream burlap. And I finally got the right size. I've been waiting a little while to make this one because I had ordered the wrong size and I ended up making that little Valentine's Day wreath to match the one on my front door. So anyway, I've gotten the right size burlap. It's 14 inches, I believe, by 10 yards. And I'm going to make this on a 16-inch work wreath. And y'all, I got this work wreath right after Christmas. And you can see that it's $6.99 and it has Christmas on it. Well, who cares if it's Christmas? I'm going to be using it for after Valentine's Day, so who cares? So I got it for like, I think 80% off, something like that, really good price for this. So I am going to be using the 16-inch work wreath, and this wreath will end up to be probably about 22 to 24 inches around. I'll try to remember to measure it at the end. And she told me what colors she wanted me to use. So it's going to be really pretty, I think. It's going to be this cream, and it's going to be chocolate brown. Look at that, chocolate brown. And then one cream and brown sunflower. How pretty is that going to be? I also got a little wooden cross, and I got it. It was $19.99, but I got it for 50% off. It was like 10 bucks for that. But I think that will pair well. I think I'm going to hang it right in the middle. Not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, but we'll figure it out. And the other things you'll need, oh, and brown burlap for a bow. And I'm going to make it very similar to my Valentine's Day wreath. She really liked the look of that. So I'm going to do just these and the flowers at the top and one big bow at the bottom and figure out where to put the cross on it somewhere. And that'll be it. It should be pretty easy. So if any of you would like to try one, this might be a really good one for you guys to try. So, but I'm going to make a bow out of this. And this is, you know what, I'm always trying to see. And I always have these glasses on my head. I really do wear them. Ah, there. 5.5 inches by 15 feet. So that'll make a nice bow. Probably won't get anything else but the bow out of it because you know me and my big bows. So that'll be just for the bow. And I've got some pipe cleaners here. And I will be gluing some pipe cleaners on the back of the cross, at least one, so that I can hang it on the wreath frame, probably from the middle top. And I'll also be using this to tie the bow closed. And that's it. That is all she wrote. That is all that's going into this wreath. So I will be right back when I start putting it together. So hang on a second. Let me get my camera turned around. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. First thing I'm going to do is to make a bow. So I'm going to be making a tiered bow. So the first thing you do, I have my brown burlap here, and I've unrolled it a good bit. It's always easier if you go ahead and unroll it. So you take the very end of it and you make a fold towards yourself. This is not wired ribbon. It's also two-sided ribbon. In other words, I don't have to do any twisting, but I am going to have to be doing some manipulating with this bow by tying it onto the wreath really tightly and cinching it down to help the bow hold its shape. So, but I really like this brown burlap, so this is what we're going to use. So anyway, make one fold towards you and kind of visualize how big you want your top loop to be, because that's what this is going to be. I kind of want it to be about that large, maybe just a smidge larger. And then you come down here and make a fold go in that direction. And you overlap. It's kind of hard to see, I guess, because it's brown, huh? But you overlap the two ends and you pinch together. And then you can kind of see where we're going with this. So then we're going to make our center loop. So you turn your ribbon around kind of and under itself, and you grab the underneath and you pinch it together as tight as you can and hold on tight in the back. And I don't want it that big, so kind of visualize how you want your loop to look too. And I will smush the loop together too, so that'll probably do it. And so I'm holding everything underneath, and your hand will cramp. I promise you it is going to cramp. So just hang in there and persevere. You'll get through it, I promise. I don't know how many loops I'm going to make this bow yet, but we're just going to start out and see how far I get and what I think will work. So your ribbon is going to be going out as you make your loops as you make your loop on one side. It is automatically going to be fed to where you need it to come on the other side. So you don't have to think about it too much. But your next loop, you want to make it about 1/2 inch to 1 inch longer than the first loop you made. Again, turn it under itself, grab it from behind, kind of accordion it together, pinch it together as tight as you can, and hang on for dear life. So now you can see it's already coming out this side, right where I want it to be. And I'm going to turn it under itself again and make my loop. Try to, make them match. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's prettier if you can get them to match a little bit. And again, accordion it together and pinch and pinch and pinch and hang on. Oh my goodness. This is big ribbon. All right, and we're going to do at least 3 loops on this, I know. So let's do another one. Again, make that one 1/2 inch longer than the one before it. Hence the tier. And again, it's coming out this side, right where I want it to be. Turn it under itself. My hands, I'm a big girl, but my hands are not big. So I am struggling too with this, because this is big ribbon, big wide ribbon. All right, so that's 3 loops. I'm going to be pulling it down pretty tight. Let's see if I have enough to do 2 more. I think I do. Let's do a 4 loop bow. 4 loop meaning 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 will be on this side too. And grab it underneath and pinch it together and pull. And 1 more loop on this side. And that, my friends, should do it. And now I want to make it probably a 3 tail, have a bow with 3 tails on it. So I pull it on out as far as I can, and my hand is so cramped right now I can't hardly stand it. It hurts. And you can't really loosen up your hand because you'll lose your whole bow. So you take it on out and make 1 big loop and do this. It's the same thing. Take it underneath and pinch it all together. And that will give me 1, 2, 3 loops. And I don't want them crazy long. So the way you tie it together is you take a pipe cleaner and you feed it through over your thumb and under the loop. And kind of take it around your thumb and grab it and hold it with your thumb. And then pull it around the back. And try to hang on to everything while you close the pipe cleaner. And you twist and twist for a little bit so you're sure not to lose it. But there we go. And of course it's going to take some tweaking and some fluffing. But I think you get the idea of how this is going to look. I think I picked the dullest pair of scissors I have in the drawer there. There we go. And then I'm going to cut it off of the bolt at about the same length as the tails, the loop you just cut. And then I usually don't cut my tails. I usually chevron the ends of my tails. I'm not going to do that until I get this situated on the wreath. And I see how there is a big fat brown burlap bow for you. All right, I'm gonna move this camera back around the other side and start putting my cream burlap on my wreath frame. Be right back. Okie dokie, I'm back. Getting ready to put the burlap on the wreath frame. As you can see, I've taken a moment to kind of point all of these chenille ties up in the air. They can get lost in the shuffle if you don't do that. And I'm going to do this wreath. I know I keep saying I'm going to try either a ruffled wreath or some other kind of burlap wreath, but not with this one either, because my cousin said that she liked it to look a certain way, so I'm going to do it that way. She loved the wreath that I did for our other cousin, Stacy, and she loved the Valentine's wreath I did. So kind of trying to mimic, kind of trying to blend both. My cousin Stacy's wreath had a cross on it, so trying to add in the cross and the cream burlap, and then the big bow of the Valentine's wreath and the way I did the flowers. So, all right, here we go. And as always, I'm gonna drop my burlap on the floor, grab the end and accordion it together. And remember, this burlap is a little bit stiffer than what I normally work with. So you might see me struggling just a smidge. But I always start in the outer ring. And I'm going to make my loops about 10 to 12 inches long. And another tip is to always try to keep your burlap, keep the right side up. In other words, keep your burlap going the exact way you start. Do not twist your burlap as you go around your wreath frame, because you will have a hot mess on your hands if you do that. All right, on around we go. And I'm not going to bore you guys forever while I make my way around. You can kind of see what I'm doing. Grab it, accordion it together. Make your loop about 10 to 12 inches long. Back it up and put it into the chenille tie. Trying not to twist as you go. And I'm going to speed up my camera right now, and I'll meet you back when I get over here. Alrighty, and here I come in to where I started, and all I'm going to do is make one more loop, and I'm going to piggyback it right in and on top of where I started. No need to undo the chenille tie. I know some people might do that. I do not. There's no need, because I'm not going to be putting a lot on this wreath. Now, if I was going to be putting a lot more accent pieces on this wreath, I may consider doing that, but since I'm not, I don't need to do that. All right, now we're going to transition over into the inner ring. So there's no cutting. You just grab it and start making another loop as if you were going to continue on the outer ring. And you go to what the next natural chenille tie would be. You guys can see that. What the next natural chenille tie would be on the outer ring. Here's the next outer ring. Here's where it is on the inner ring. So I'm just going to make one loop and transfer over to the inner ring. Just like that. And then I'm going to work my way around the inner ring, and I will be right back when I'm coming around over here. Be right back. Alrighty, here I am coming around to the very last free chenille tie, or empty chenille tie that I have. And I'm making one more loop, smooshing it down in there, and then I'm going to make one more loop to finish it off. And I'm going to, as I did coming around the outer ring, I'm going to piggyback it right in and on top of the burlap where I started. There we go. And I'm going to take the scissors. I'm done. I'm done with my burlap now. I don't want to continue on. I have a little bit left, not a lot left. I'm going to stop. Rows. Cut it right there, and I'm going to tuck this one back and behind. There we go. There we go. Not that much left out of that bulb. So I'm going to take a minute to fluff it out, which is just pretty much just taking my hand and putting it under and inside the loop and just kind of pulling it and fluffing. So, first thing, let's get this bow tied on. I'm going to tie it on the inner ring. That kind of gives you an idea of what it'll look like. All right, next I have tufts of brown like this, and I cut them apart and I make them into one kind of a bit smaller and but more bunched together type of a tuft. I'll show you how I did that. I take my handy dandy. First I need to take the price tag off. That would help. These were $3.99 by the way, and as you guys saw, I bought one of these when I was in Hobby Lobby with my little Hobby Lobby tour there. I used a coupon for one, and then last week they were on sale for 50% off, so I got this other one last week. So I'm just going to cut this one big sprig down, and then I cut these two off. And I get myself some wire, just plain floral wire. And I want to kind of make them so that I don't want them sticking straight out like that. Let me move this over. So I want to, when I put them on, I want to have more on the bottom than on the top, because I want it to kind of bow around the wreath, kind of follow the wreath shape. So I have to think about that when I put these together. So, and I want to make them look very similar to this one. So I kind of eyeball it here and put it all together. Get that out of the way a little bit. Get a piece of the wire. And then wire these three pieces together. I want to tuck these two together because they're going to go right like that with this sunflower in the middle. So I want them pretty close together because the sunflower is going to be the only thing sitting there. And again, I get some more wire. This is when you kind of need a third hand here. And wire these together. Let's see, there we go, there's the center, and I put it on I tie this right into the chenille tie on the top, like that, right like that. Now don't worry about these chenille ties, I'll show you how we're gonna take care of those. Now you wanna make sure that your sunflower is going to be right above your bow. So that's important. Now I'm going to cut out this sunflower and I'm going to tie it into I'm not going to use the greenery either, into the twist tie or into the chenille tie, but then I am also going to glue it on just to make it more secure. And this also is going to be mailed to my cousin. I want to be sure it holds its shape nicely. I'm actually going to stick this underneath that brown and then kind of pull the chenille tie around. Not sure, I might need to go and pick up one more bit of brown. I think I might need a little bit more. Anyway, let me get my cross on here somewhere. And I think I'm just going to hang it down from the center, because I really don't have anything. If I put it on one side, I'm afraid it'll look lopsided. So I think I will just keep it in the center. And you know what I found on the back of it? Check it out. I found a little hanger, so I really don't need to glue the pipe cleaner on. I can just feed it through and tie it to the inner ring. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. It's definitely coming along. Let me get it put up on the easel and see if I think I might need to get more brown on it. I'm thinking I do. I'm not sure if I like it without it being I am working my way around this wreath with some hot glue and some clothespins. And you're wondering, what in the world is she using these clothespins for? Well, they are not going to stay on the wreath, I promise. I am using them to hold the chenille, or to hold the burlap shut over the chenille ties. Because I'm not putting a lot of accent pieces on this wreath, you can see the chenille ties, especially on either side. So I don't like to see the chenille ties, so I'm using a hot glue, and I'm putting just a little dab of it and holding the burlap together very, very gently and carefully, because I don't want to burn myself, and then holding it together with the clothespin. And I have 3 clothespins that I use, because once I'm done with the third one, I can pull the first one off, and it is nice and dry, and I can move on over here and move all the way around the wreath rather quickly. So I will be back when I'm finished gluing all of the burlap up and over the chenille ties that I can see, and I will show you the finished product and also how to fluff up this bow and to take care of the bow tails. So I'll be back in just a little while. Wish me luck that I don't burn my fingers with this hot glue. Be back. Hi everyone, I'm back. Well, here we go. Here's the finished wreath. Haven't done the tails of the bow yet. I'm going to do that and show you guys how I do that in just a second. I finished up going around and hiding the chenille ties, and I went to Hobby Lobby. My daughter's here visiting today, and so we went to Hobby Lobby, and I will admit I picked up some more brown sprigs to put around the top, because it was just bothering me like crazy not to have some going around the top, and it looks a lot better. And now I need to finish the bow tails, and the way I do that, see if I can position this right so y'all can see it, is I like to chevron the tails, and I'm going to chevron all 3 of them, because this stuff curls up in any which way at once. So in order to chevron, I fold the tail in half, and a lot of people start at the fold and cut down. I do not. I start from the raw edge and cut at a deep angle going up toward the fold. And that makes a chevroned bow tail. I'm going to cut this one just a little shorter. There we go. And this one. And there we go. That does it. So that finishes off this pretty wreath in cream burlap and chocolate brown. And Chris will probably have to make a box like he did for Stacy for this one, unless I might try to take it to the post office or one of those, you know, quick mail places and see if I can find a box that would work for this. But this one needs to be mailed off to my sweet cousin. So I hope she likes it. I like how it turned out. I'm really happy with it. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you want me to link something, I'll link you the cream burlap. I will do that in the description. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll try my best to answer them. But I'm just going to say, until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye.